let's talk Tennessee's quarterback situation. Are you aware that Tennessee had a bit of a quarterback issue last month, Caleb?
Just a little bit,
Just a little
nothing,
bit.
nothing. The guy I said was created in a lab to play the offense, hit the transfer portal. So it's
Hmm.
basically like Tommy Frazier transferring from Nebraska.
Today's tough question brought to you by Banks and Jones, Tennessee's trial attorney, banksandjones.com, as we broadcast live from the Ted Russell Ford Lincoln Studios, East Tennessee's largest volume dealer. All right, Tennessee's quarterback situation is it's been met with more optimism than I would have figured, with Nico going out and Joey Aguilar coming in. Georgia has an interesting quarterback situation in which they lost a high profile quarterback as well. So we'll ask the question, which one is worse? Is it Georgia's quarterback situation or is it Tennessee's quarterback situation? Today's tough question. We'll make that a poll question as well on the YouTube page. Please click the thumbs up button. We appreciate it when you like and subscribe. We love your comments as well. The great ones will be put up on the board so everybody can see them. Today's tough question brought to you by Banks and Jones, Tennessee's trial attorney, banksandjones.com. Who has the worst quarterback situation? Is it Tennessee or Georgia? Let's lay it out there first with what Tennessee has. Tennessee has a true freshman, they have a sophomore, and they have Joey Aguilar, who most people think will start. Georgia's quarterback situation. Break that down for us, and then we'll get to today's tough question and that production element.
Yeah, so Georgia's quarterback situation after losing Carson Beck to Miami, they have Gunner Stockton, who started for them last year in the playoff and lost. And then they have 3 freshmen, Ryan Puglisi, Hezekiah Millender, and Ryan Montgomery are their guys. They basically have nobody with any true experience playing the sport at this college level. Now, Puglisi is a 4-star, I believe, from the 2024 recruiting class, if I'm not mistaken. And he would be the favorite to back up Gunner Stockton just in case, if somebody gets hurt or anything like that. But we don't know how that's going to work out. And so it's really just Gunner Stockton with like 1 game of starting experience and then 3 decently touted, but not insanely highly touted quarterbacks as of right now because of their, again, lack of experience playing. Now, as far as the other 2 quarterbacks that are in the system, Montgomery's a 3-star, Montgomery's a 4-star, Millender's a 3-star. None of these guys are 5 stars. So it's kind of Gunner Stockton or bust for Georgia this year.
Yeah, that's maybe better than what Tennessee's got going on. Today's tough question.
Today's tough question. Boom. You heard that. Now take it. The Dave Hooker Show with Caleb Calhoun. Represented by T. Scott Jones, banksandjones.com, Tennessee's trial attorney. From the Ted Russell Ford Lincoln Studio, East Tennessee's #1 volume and customer service dealer, Ted Russell Ford and TedRussellLincoln.net. Now to the Dave Hooker Show on Off the Hook Sports.
I don't think there's really any question about it. I think it's Gunner Stockton. I'm not as high on Joey Aguilar as some other people are. I don't think it's just a lock, stock, and barrel, that he's going to be the starter at Tennessee. I think there could be a bit of a battle there. Most people think he's just going to start Joey Aguilar, but Gunner Stockton he's at least played against top competition. He played in the SEC championship game, and then you mentioned the college football playoff. He's seen the speed of the game, and I don't think he's great. And I only want to grade the quarterbacks. I don't want to talk quarterback play because you would think with a probably better offensive line that Georgia would be able to do more for its quarterback. I don't want to go in that regard. I just want to go on quarterback play and making throws. Caleb, I don't think it's really close. I think it's Gunner Stockton.
You see, I would have said that with you before going into last year's college football playoff. But I don't think there is any debate that Gunner Stockton really, really, really underachieved in that one playoff game against Notre Dame. Now, Notre Dame, I know you and I have questions about Marcus Freeman, but is a great defensive coach, came out with a great game plan against Gunner Stockton as a first-year starter. So but having seen what I saw in that game, I don't think I disagree. I'm pretty high on Tennessee having a better quarterback situation for this reason. You're just comparing Joey Aguilar and Gunner Stockton. By the way, I think, and you tell me if I'm wrong on this, I think the level you succeeded at as a quarterback is overrated in the college level, because wherever you succeed at, you are playing with a relative similar level of talent around you. So, I mean, I think if you're a quarterback and you ball out at Appalachian State, you're capable of balling out in the SEC. The talent around you, the level of play elevates. But then, Dave, behind Joey Aguilar, you have George McIntyre and Jake Merklinger. I would take those two guys over the three quarterbacks Georgia has behind them. If Jaden Rashada was still at Georgia, maybe we'd have a different conversation. Obviously, if Carson Beck was at Georgia and you had Carson Beck, Jaden Rashada, and then Gunner Stockton, we'd say Georgia has the better situation. But Carson Beck to Miami, and then Jaden Rashada back in the portal, I'm going to make the argument. No, I really think that Tennessee has the better quarterback situation. And let's not forget this fact, too. This is a key fact. Even though Josh Heupel's system is more conducive to the quarterback putting up big numbers than what Kirby Smart runs, because Kirby Smart runs a pro-style offense, Georgia's system is more dependent on having the right quarterback than Josh Heupel's system, because a lot of quarterbacks can be the right quarterback for Josh Heupel's system.
Okay, but let me just ask you this. If you could, and I want to hear from you on the message board in this regard, because we're just talking quarterback play. I don't want to get into the pro style and all that, but just in the offensive line and all the many moving parts around there. At the end of the day, would Josh Heupel pick up the phone and trade Gunner Stockton for Joey Aguilar? I think he would.
Yeah, I think he probably would. I think he'd trade Gunner Stockton for Joey Aguilar. But I don't know if that's, again, Gunner Stockton. Here's the one difference, though, and this is one thing we're kind of underrating, is that Gunner Stockton, to be fair, is small. He's 6'1", and that's a generous 6'1". Joey Aguilar 6'3", and is actually close to 6'4". As I'm saying it out loud, Dave, I'm actually not sure. Now, Josh Heupel might, because Josh Heupel values what Gunner Stockton can do more than what Joey Aguilar can do. But I think what Joey Aguilar can do is actually better for what Josh Heupel's system needs. Look, I'm reevaluating what I think about Josh Heupel's system, Dave. And let me say what I mean by that. For the longest time, I felt that you needed to have the beautiful deep ball over the top, right? I think you just have to have a decent deep ball and then be a bit of a gunslinger over the middle and be able to make some throws like that over the middle to have to spread the defense more. Joey Aguilar can do that better than Nico can, funny enough. So I can't say for sure Josh Heupel would take Gunner Stockton over Aguilar. I think he would, but I think he might be wrong to do so.
Gunner Stockton was a 4-star prospect when he came out in the 2022 class. Number 7 overall quarterback, 124th in the nation, according to 247 Sports. He is also, let's not forget this, he's played against top competition as the 11th best player in Georgia. I'm not comparing high school to college football or the SEC. I'm not going there, but he has played at a higher level in high school. He's played better competition in his brief stints at Georgia last season. I'm surprised. I thought we would agree on this, that Georgia had the better quarterback situation, but you don't think so. I'm just not sold on Joey Aguilar yet. And here's the other factor. Now, I mentioned I didn't want to get into moving parts, and this is a moving part, so I'm sorry, I'm breaking my own rule. The timing of it, Gunner Stockton has been there for a long time. Joey Aguilar has roughly 2 months to learn this system before preseason camp, and then it's go, go, go. So that's another factor, Caleb, where I think Stockton has the upper hand and Georgia has the upper hand on Tennessee.
That is so overrated for Tennessee's system, though. It takes you and I. We've talked about this. You and I would figure out this Josh Heupel system in 2 weeks as a quarterback, and we've never played quarterback before. Not that we'd be able to make the throws, but we'd at least easily know how to run it. It is a very easy system for quarterbacks to figure out.
When I was 19, I could have made all the throws. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. All right. Let's put it this way. Dave, you played the old NCAA football games before they retired it, right? Not the new ones, but the old ones before they shut us down in 2014. Josh Heupel's system, the reads for quarterback in that are as easy as the reads in like the 2010 NCAA football game where you could audible at the line of scrimmage and do audibles for the receiver routes. Are they not that easy?
They're not difficult. I'll give you that.
Yeah. So taking that into account, I don't think the timing matters that much. I really don't. So, and honestly, I got to give Travis a really, really, really good shout out for his comment real quick.
Same for Blind Squirrel Sports. Go ahead.
Well, we'll start with Blind Squirrel Sports and we'll go to Travis. But Blind Squirrel Sports says, Caleb, does Georgia win the SEC title game if Beck doesn't go down? The offense came to life just enough to beat Texas, and the players immediately rallied behind Gunner when he entered the game. But then Blind Squirrel Sports, what happened against Notre Dame? Gunner Stockton took like 5 sacks, didn't he? Wasn't that the number of sacks he took, or was it 4? And some of those were on him. He didn't play well against Notre Dame. I mean, Georgia had 10 points. Gunner Stockton couldn't close the deal in the red zone. And I would also add to you, who cares if you didn't win the SEC title game with Gunner Stockton? You should have been trying to win that game anyway, honestly.
Adam says I would take Merklinger over Stockton just based on their time at the program and recruitment rankings. I tend to agree with that. I just don't. Everybody's written off Merklinger, and I think it's too soon to do that. I would not be surprised if he started the season and held on to the job.
I agree, because I think Merklinger could be better. But I just got to throw out Travis's point now, because this is true when you say learn the system. Oh, no, will he never learn a handoff, screen, or deep ball progression? That's Josh Heupel's offense. Hand it off, throw a screen, or throw it over the top. That's it. That's all you do as a quarterback in his offense, pretty much.
Well, I don't think Georgia's is all that difficult either to run.
They run a pro style. They teach you to it's a Mike Bobo's pro style offense. It's the concepts are similar to a degree of what Todd Monken ran there. Mike Bobo's just not as good at it at all. I actually think Mike Bobo puts sometimes more on the quarterback than Todd Monken did, to a detriment. He's expected. You know what it reminds me of? Here's a great example. David Cutcliffe versus Randy Sanders. Cutcliffe did mold his offense to his quarterback, right?
Yes.
Whereas Randy Sanders ran a standard pro style.
Well, now let me backtrack. I don't know that David Cutcliffe. I think it affected his play calling. I don't know that it affected putting the offense together. Did you call a few more running plays with T than you did Peyton? Of course, but I don't think that you didn't go run and shoot or something crazy.
No, that's true. But Randy Sanders would expect, no matter who the quarterback is, for them to figure out the entire full playbook all the way through. He admitted this with Eric Ainge, and the whole reason the 2005 debacle happened. He said, look, Ainge was a freshman. He played well, and we just threw the entire playbook at him as a sophomore and expected him to learn everything.
Boy, golden point. This is the best point of today's tough question, brought to you by Banks & Jones, Tennessee's trial attorney, banksandjones.com. Quarterback play and misses by Josh at quarterback has created doubt about him. What happens when we overachieve with a lesser talented players at quarterback? Well, I don't know, but based off their history and the recent history, would you have concern about any of Tennessee's quarterbacks, given that Josh Heupel has made some questionable decisions at that position, which should be his best coach position, given that he's an offensive coach? Today's tough question brought to you by Banks & Jones, Tennessee's trial attorney, banksandjones.com. Why Banks & Jones? Well, it's because they're Tennessee's trial attorney. You can play to win with Banks & Jones because they'll go to trial. You've heard of other lawyers. They say they'll go to trial and fight for you. They won't. They just want to settle. That's the easiest way out. Well, that's not Banks & Jones, led by T. Scott Jones. They won't settle. They'll go to trial for you. Tennessee's trial attorney. They play to win. Truly, Tennessee's trial attorney when it comes to criminal defense or personal injury. Why settle? It's Banks & Jones. T. Scott. If I would have said this following the 2022 season, you would have said Dave's been boozing it up before the show. Who do you have more faith in as far as recruiting quarterbacks and tabbing quarterbacks to be the starter? Kirby Smart or Josh Heupel?
Who do I have more faith in?
Yes.
I have more faith in, believe it or not, Kirby Smart to evaluate the quarterbacks. But I've been screaming. Look, have I not been screaming this from the rooftop, Dave, for 3 years now, that Josh Heupel does not evaluate quarterbacks well? That's just a flaw in his game. And it's funny because he's a great quarterbacks coach. Look, some people are this way. I mean, some people are great at coaching what you give them, but they can't evaluate. That's why Tennessee, I've been screaming this from the rooftop, they've got to get a GM and tell Josh Heupel, you coach ball. You let us pick the talent for you, because he can't evaluate talent to save his life. And that's fine. That's a weakness of his. And it's not a necessary strength anymore for coaches, because you can get a GM. Look, Bill Belichick can't evaluate talent. And he's arguably the greatest coach.
Can't evaluate talent.
No, he can't evaluate talent. He got fired from New England because he just missed on draft picks consistently. Okay,
He took that center from Chattanooga. How'd that work out in the first round?
He did.
I don't know that I've ever seen a center go in the first round.
That's a cookie. I don't know.
That was especially from Chattanooga, UTC.
Yeah, no, that's true. And what else did he? I mean, look at the receivers he went for regularly, time after time. We give him credit because Tom Brady fell into his lap, but everybody talks about that. Oh, he found Tom Brady. Dave, they took Tom Brady in the 6th round. It wasn't like they were like going all in to get Tom Brady and they knew he was going to be that good. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, they got a guy who had an uber work ethic that was just determined to succeed, and probably falling to the 6th round is what motivated him further. No, you had no idea you were even getting a starter with Tom Brady.
Yeah, exactly. And even Bill Belichick admitted that. He said, 2000, we just wasted a roster spot on him because we thought maybe he could be good if he improved, but they didn't think he was going to be what you can't tell me they thought he was going to be what he was. I mean, look, there are some players you draft that you expect them to be what they are, but like Tom Brady was not one of those guys. And so, but that doesn't mean Bill Belichick's not a great coach. The same holds true with Josh Heupel. He can be a great play caller. He can be great at developing a system and changing that system creatively to stay ahead of the curve. But at the same time, he doesn't pick the right quarterbacks for his system. He just doesn't. He falls in love with the deep ball because, and this is the truth, and you know this, Dave, Josh Heupel, the number one thing he wants to hit those deep balls over the top. He wants to hit like 4 a game if he can.
Travis says T.O. went to UTC, albeit not a center, but he didn't know he was going to UTC. He thought he was going to the University of Tennessee, and he showed up and he wears all the orange.
Did that really happen?
Yes, that really happened. I'm one of many reporters. I'll go ahead and share this with you, and talk show host that has made T.O. cry with some very pointed questions. I'm pretty proud of that. Because remember, he didn't go to the Hall of Fame, so he stopped by a radio show I was doing, the Hall of Fame induction. He did his own thing in Chattanooga. It was bizarre. And got him to tear up a little bit. I was pretty proud of that.
That is kind of crazy. Now, here's another what
It's not difficult. You want to talk about one heck of an athlete in person. Goodness gracious. That guy's not stopped working out.
Well, what if he had gone to Tennessee? Because he would have been on that 93 Tennessee team where Heath Shuler was a runner-up for a Heisman. Could you imagine Heath Shuler throwing to T.O.?
Yeah, he would have been good, no question about it. And I'd say T.O. would have been happier. Now, a point Travis made real quick. No team in the SEC has a GM. Well, Oklahoma does. But I don't think that's reason not to do it. I think it's reason to be ahead of the curve.